were a merry band of warriors. Randy used to call us the Marines, and we were naive. We were exceptionally young. Despite all that, God was very faithful to grow us and give us a place to lay down some roots and love a community.
Perimeter was always committed to planting new churches. So Intown was probably the second or the third one of those that they planted in 1983.
Right after becoming a Christian, I went to this church that met, and we didn't even have a building. We were meeting at the La Vista Women's Club, and everybody was just trying to figure out life and their career, and we were all from someplace else, so it was very exciting.
We outgrew the La Vista Women's Club, went to a hotel, went to 2 different schools, went to a vacant church.
You had to set up everything, the cribs, the nursery, the sanctuary. But I think that brought a lot of us who were there then close together in a different way, because the whole team had to make church happen every Sunday.
It had felt like we were Israel wandering, setting up our tent in different locations to worship. And then we had a place to stand, which was the name of our campaign to raise the money. Jesus was building his church, and we were part of it, and that's a wonderful feeling.
When we came here, it was so exciting, and I think a lot of it was seeing God's provision for the land, for the building, because we were a young congregation. It wasn't like there were lots of people with lots of affluence to be able to build this.
We had a dedication, and it was still when this was all a pile of dirt, and we all signed the footing down there at the bottom of the hill. Prayer was led from the top of a pile of dirt, and the building still wasn't built, but the overall feeling of excitement.
And we were excited because it was a great location, and we knew that with a permanent home, people would, we anticipated, God's hand in growing the church.
People were excited to be here because they heard the truth. They heard it crystal clear. They heard it in a compassionate way and in a way that they could live by and use in their lives.
Coming to this space allowed us to really expand, to engage with the community. And I think the Lord blessed that mindset and that outward facing. And I just felt the Lord's presence here, and the Holy Spirit was at work.
It was never like, oh, we're so excited we built this. It was always God built this. And so there was just a sense of gratefulness and excitement and just feeling very, very thankful.
My foundational memory would be of small groups and how effective they were at drawing people together, understanding, what it meant to be a part of a community that was really serious about growth and what it meant to worship in spirit and in truth.
I remember the first day of worship when we were here, and it was powerful. It was, it said so much about how good God is.
There have been some harder times over those 40 years where in some ways seemed hopeless, but yet there was always hope. And I just remember in some of those periods, I was amazed when we would have new people coming into the church. Those little glimpses of hope of new people wanting to be part of this community in spite of what we were going through as a church.
I think back to the early days, and we called it the Wonder Years. And it was the Wonder Years for a long time. And then we went through some definitely not Wonder Years. On the other side of those rough patches, we are better prepared for when things get hard. It does not mean that God is not still with us. We are still experiencing His grace. He is still leading us. He is still with us.
When I think about Intown's history and how it connects to the future,
the thought that jumps to the forefront of my mind is God's faithfulness. Because there have been seasons of just incredible growth and joy and fruitfulness of ministry. And then there have been some really hard and dry seasons. There have been times that we have questioned, are we going to make it? And all through those, you see the Lord's hand. You see the Lord providing. You see Him providing just the right team members, just the right pastors, with just the right gifts for that season.
Intown is flourishing and it's thriving, and people are growing in the Lord. People are coming to know the Lord. People are growing in who they've been made to be by Him, to go out from here. To see that now becoming really rich and thriving is for me very much part of the Lord's favor.
When I go back to the mantra of Intown as we started was the quote, attempt something so great for God that it's doomed for failure, lest He be in it. So many opportunities to be doomed for failure over 40 years, but God's been in it, and it's just really encouraging for me to see where we're headed next and what the next 40 years will look like.